This ship wasn't meant to be reviewed yet. This was meant to be something else, like the Mamba, or something made by Saud Kruger. But upon hearing that the Thargoids had been spotted in areas where they hadn't been spotted previously, and that they weren't immediately hostile, it warranted scouting out the location. And whilst a long-range explorer might be better suited to this task, this ship literally has Scout in its name, so it should be good at this work, apparently. This is the Diamondback Scout, and I'm kicking myself for not using its more expensive sister ship, the Diamondback Explorer, or my Crate Phantom, because the fuel tank is tiny and it can only fit a Class 3 fuel scoop, neither of which bode well for a rapid response through the stars. Jump range isn't too bad though. I very quickly threw this build together and it gets about 40 light years of range, and that's not really optimised in the engineering department. With optimisations and luck, you can stretch this ship to over 55 light years of range in a single jump. I've also got an SRV, a surface scanner, so the basics are catered for, plus an assortment of weapons and AX utilities for if the worst happens. But then the armour on this is so weak in this configuration that the ship will probably be squashed very quickly by an alien attack, or any attack for that matter. Speed under boost isn't too bad. With grade 3 dirty drives it's clocking at over 500 meters per second, so it's fast enough to get to a safe space in most cases. It's also a good candidate for exobiology if you need a diversion while making those long trips. With DBS overtaking my Cobra in the last week or two as the most profitable exobiology ship that I have. You can land it pretty much anywhere, and it's got the visibility and agility for landing in those trickier spots. Let's take a look at how this ship looks. It's certainly a departure from the plain-looking transporter ships that Lakon produce. It's got a mixed reception from the various commanders out there, some hating its looks in their entirety, some hating certain features like the front end, and some absolutely loving the ship's looks. I like it. I'd say it looked unique, but the DBX looks pretty similar for fairly obvious reasons. I love the look of the swept-back wings and the recessed engines, and whilst the front looks a bit boxy, it's certainly providing a decent view of the galaxy around you. Inside it's small but not cramped, so it should provide a comfortable enough space for those long trips into the black, and the canopy is very similar in shape to what you'd find on the Chieftain line of ships, which, as far as I'm concerned, are the pinnacle of Lakon's design department's outputs. Internal capacity is one of this ship's shortcomings. With my exploration build, I didn't even have enough internal cargo space to bring a sandwich for the trip. Theoretically, this ship has enough space for 32 tons of cargo, but by the time you add shields, a fuel scoop, an SRV bay, you rapidly end up running out of space for anything else, so you can't bring back any souvenirs from your trip away, like a Thargoid sensor or Guardian totem. It also makes the DBS a poor trader, which is a pity, since this ship can run so cold that, with more capacity, it would make an excellent ship for piracy, keeping cool to fly under the radar as you loot rum from those who actually paid for it via honest trades. It's designed as a scout ship, again, obviously, given the name, so this largely means a mix of exploration and combat abilities. Exploration I've already covered, so let's have a look at combat. It's an agile ship, more so than my favourite small ship, the Viper Mark III, and on paper more so than the Imperial Eagle. Although it is slower than both of them, it's still no slouch. It's perfect for sitting behind your foe and unleashing a can of whoop-ass from the point where you can hit them and they can't hit you. As already mentioned, it runs cooler than the Fonz, so you can hide effectively, plus the convergence on this ship is pretty good, with all 4 hardpoints being mounted around the cockpit. Base armour and shields are also better than what you'd find on the Cobra Mark III, although the Cobra does have more space inside to enhance the armour with reinforcements. So the DBS starts with better armour, but the Cobra can be modded to have better armour still. And while this isn't the fastest small ship, it's more than fast enough to get out of dodge if you can bite off more than you can chew. In all honesty, I get better combat results with the Viper, but that being said, the Viper is a ship I've flown more often, and I'd like to think that's given me time to adapt to any shortcomings. Either way, if you pick your targets wisely and you adopt the sneaky approach, you can get some decent results with the DBS. The other thing to talk about is mining, and given what I've already said about trading, you can see where I'm going to go with this. Probably best not to bother due to the internal capacity, unless you're thinking about going core mining, which you could probably get some limited hauls out of the ship. So in conclusion, this is a small ship, and it's often overlooked by commanders since the DBX is a much more tempting proposition for exploration, and for everything else, either the Cobra Mark III or the Viper Mark IV will do a much better job. But given the cost of this ship and my experiences, I think it's still worth throwing down the base cost of 560,000 credits to buy one, and then have a play with it, even if the price is on the upper side of reasonable for what you get. From my experiences with this ship, I've been pleasantly surprised. It's got shortcomings for sure, but this is a ship I've really grown to enjoy over the last few weeks. It's certainly a ship I'll keep working on to improve the build, and I just get a lot of enjoyment out of using it. And that's the main thing. That being said, though, the last ship that I reviewed was the Type 7 transporter, so that might go some way to explain why I've enjoyed this ship so much. Your views may vary, and if they do, let me know in the comments, or just post to say hi, that works too. As always, thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, then there's a button for that. Plus, I'd really appreciate it if you subbed, shared, and all of that good stuff. It's all appreciated from this end. If you've already subbed, then thank you. I'm coming up to halfway through reviewing the ships in the Elite Galaxy, and when that's over, I've still got ideas on what will come next, even if it's many months away at this point. Enjoy whatever it is that you do, and I'll see you all real soon. 07.